The Vanishing Globe. On March 15, 2019, technicians at the European Space Operations Center in Darmstadt were monitoring routine transmissions from the Sentinel-3 Earth observation satellite when something impossible appeared on their screens. At exactly 14:23 GMT, the live feed from 800 kilometers above the Pacific Ocean showed Earth's familiar curved horizon suddenly flatten into a perfectly reflective plane. The blue marble we call home vanished, replaced by what appeared to be a massive mirror stretching endlessly in all directions, bordered by distinct zones of brilliant white light and absolute darkness. For 2 seconds that felt like eternity, Earth looked nothing like the planet we know. No atmospheric haze, no cloud formations, no gentle curve disappearing into space. Instead, the surface appeared completely flat, almost metallic, reflecting the satellite's instruments back at itself like a cosmic mirror. Then, as abruptly as it had changed, the feed snapped back to normal. The familiar blue and green sphere reappeared, rotating peacefully as if nothing had happened. Within hours, the satellite's parent corporation implemented a mysterious 12-second broadcast delay on all future transmissions. When questioned, officials claimed it was for routine signal processing, but internal documents later revealed the delay was specifically designed to filter anomalous imagery in real time. The implication was chilling. If they needed time to correct what the satellite was seeing, what exactly was it capturing that required such careful editing? The future film roll. Sometimes the most disturbing discoveries hide in plain sight for years before anyone notices what they're really looking at. In 1999, a photography enthusiast named Marcus Chen was cleaning out his deceased grandfather's darkroom when he found an undeveloped roll of Kodak film dated 1988. The canister had been sitting in a drawer for over a decade, forgotten and ignored. Chen developed the film out of curiosity, expecting to find old family photos or mundane snapshots from the late 80s. What emerged from the developer solution defied every law of causality he understood. The 36 photographs showed Seattle's skyline, but not the Seattle of 1988. These images depicted the city as it would exist in 2010, complete with buildings that hadn't been constructed yet, an infrastructure that existed only as concept drawings in 1988. The photos showed the Olympic Sculpture Park, which wouldn't be completed until 2007, and the distinctive curves of the Seattle Public Library, designed by Rem Koolhaas, but not built until 2004. Most unsettling was frame number 23. It showed a man in a wheelchair on the observation deck of the Space Needle, holding what appeared to be the exact same vintage camera that had taken the photograph. The man was looking directly into the lens with an expression of profound sadness, as if he knew something terrible about what he was documenting. Every architectural detail in the background matched Seattle exactly as it would appear 22 years after the film was supposedly exposed. Over the following 2 decades, every prediction captured on that impossible roll of film came true with disturbing precision. The South Lake Union development, the streetcar line, even the specific placement of public art installations, all appeared exactly as shown in photographs that predated their construction by decades. The question that haunted investigators wasn't how someone could fake such elaborate predictions, but rather how surveillance systems from 1988 could have captured images from a future timeline. The 3-day forecast. Weather prediction has always been an inexact science, but in 2016, meteorologists at the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts began noticing something unprecedented about data from their Meteosat 11 satellite. The atmospheric readings weren't predictions at all. They were observations of weather systems that wouldn't occur for exactly 72 hours. Dr. Sarah Kovacs was the first to identify the pattern while analyzing storm formation over the North Atlantic. The satellite's instruments were detecting precise wind speeds, pressure gradients, and precipitation levels for a massive hurricane system. But when she checked current atmospheric conditions, there was no storm. The ocean was calm, pressure systems were stable, and every other monitoring station showed normal weather patterns. 3 days later, Hurricane Elena formed in the exact location, with identical wind speeds, pressure readings, and trajectory as the satellite had observed 72 hours earlier. The match was perfect, down to the smallest meteorological detail. Elena wasn't being predicted by the satellite's data processing systems. It was being observed in real time from a timeline 3 days in the future. The discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Dr. Kovich's team began systematically analyzing months of archived satellite data and found the temporal displacement was consistent. Every atmospheric measurement was displaced exactly 72 hours into the future. The satellite wasn't malfunctioning. It was somehow accessing weather data from a parallel timeline running 3 days ahead of our own. European Space Agency officials quietly implemented signal processing protocols to artificially delay and modify the satellite's transmissions, making them appear to show current conditions rather than future observations. The public weather forecasts became remarkably accurate as a result, but the true source of that accuracy was carefully hidden. The satellite's ability to observe non-linear time raised terrifying questions about the nature of reality and whether our monitoring systems were accessing information from parallel versions of Earth running on different temporal schedules. The unmapped islands. In October 2017, technicians monitoring transmissions from Russia's Re-P reconnaissance satellite encountered footage that shattered their understanding of Earth's geography. The high-resolution imagery showed a chain of tropical islands in crystal-clear detail, complete with lush vegetation, pristine beaches, and what appeared to be sophisticated architectural structures. The problem was simple yet impossible to explain. These islands didn't exist anywhere on Earth's surface. The coordinates placed the land masses in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, roughly 2,000 kilometers west of Chile, in waters that every oceanographic survey showed to be over 4,000 meters deep. Yet the satellite's instruments detected solid ground, vegetation, and what looked like humanoid inhabitants moving through elaborate stone structures that resembled ancient temples mixed with impossibly advanced technology. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a geospatial analyst contracted to verify the footage, spent weeks cross-referencing the coordinates with every available geographic database. Nautical charts, geological surveys, underwater mapping projects, and military reconnaissance archives all confirmed the same thing. The location showed nothing but open ocean. No islands, no shallow waters, no evidence that land had ever existed in that region. The inhabitants captured in the satellite footage appeared remarkably human, but exhibited behaviors that suggested advanced technological capabilities. They moved in coordinated patterns around structures that seemed to shift and adapt their configuration based on environmental conditions. The architecture itself defied conventional engineering, with buildings that appeared to grow rather than be constructed, and transportation systems that operated without any visible mechanical components. Most disturbing was the realization that these weren't ancient ruins or natural formations. The structures appeared to be actively maintained and continuously evolving. The satellite captured footage of new construction appearing overnight, landscape modifications that occurred in real time, and technological systems that operated according to principles that human science couldn't identify or explain. Russian officials classified the footage under national security restrictions, but not before copies were leaked to independent researchers who confirmed the imagery's authenticity. The satellite's instruments were functioning perfectly. The coordinates were accurate, and the visual data was consistent across multiple observation passes. The islands existed in the satellite's reality, even though they were completely absent from Earth's physical geography. The mirrored Earths. China's Tiangong space station houses one of the most sophisticated observation arrays ever deployed, capable of monitoring Earth's surface with unprecedented precision and detail. In January 2021, the imaging system began detecting something that challenged the fundamental assumption that only one version of our planet exists in this dimensional space. Commander Li Wei was conducting routine surface monitoring when the array's primary sensors began registering dual signals from identical coordinates. The system was somehow receiving data from two separate versions of Earth simultaneously. One appeared normal, rotating on its familiar axis with continents positioned exactly as expected. The other showed the same planet rotating in the opposite direction, with subtle but definite alterations to continental shapes and oceanic boundaries. The technical specifications ruled out equipment malfunction. Every component was functioning within normal parameters, calibration was perfect, and the dual signals were consistent across multiple sensor arrays. The imaging system seemed to be piercing through some kind of dimensional overlap, revealing that multiple versions of Earth were occupying the same spatial coordinates, but existing in slightly different reality states. Dr. Chen Lu, the mission's chief scientific officer, documented thousands of images showing the parallel Earth configurations. The reversed rotation planet showed Africa with a slightly different coastline, South America positioned about 200 kilometers further east, and Australia with what appeared to be an additional large island off its northern coast. The differences were subtle but measurable, suggesting alternate geological development over millions of years. Most unsettling was the realization that both versions appeared to be equally real and equally occupied by human civilization. The observation array detected identical weather patterns, similar urban development, and comparable technological signatures from both planetary versions. It was as if reality contained multiple Earth states that normally remained separate but occasionally became visible to advanced monitoring systems. Chinese space officials immediately classified the findings as a critical signal malfunction and implemented filtering protocols to prevent the dual-planet observations from being recorded in official logs. The cover story claimed solar interference was causing false readings, but internal communications revealed genuine concern about the implications of parallel Earth detection and the need to prevent public awareness of multidimensional planetary overlap. The rendered reality. America's most classified surveillance satellite, designated Deep Eye, maintains a geosynchronous orbit 35,786 kilometers above the equator, capable of resolving surface details down to individual license plates. In August 2020, image analysts at the National Reconnaissance Office began noticing disturbing anomalies in the satellite's ultra-high-resolution feeds. What they discovered challenged every assumption about the nature of physical reality itself. The first sign appeared during routine surveillance of downtown Los Angeles. At exactly 2:47 p.m. Pacific Time, an entire city block began displaying what could only be described as rendering artifacts. Buildings flickered between solid structures and translucent wireframe outlines, as if someone was toggling between display modes on a three-dimensional computer model. Traffic lights appeared as floating geometric primitives, and sections of asphalt showed the characteristic checkerboard pattern of missing texture files. Senior analyst Rebecca Stone initially dismissed the anomalies as sensor malfunctions or atmospheric interference, but as she examined archived footage, a terrifying pattern emerged. The rendering artifacts weren't random glitches. They occurred systematically during periods of peak human activity, as if Earth's surface was struggling to maintain consistent appearance when too many people were present in a single location. Times Square during New Year's Eve showed the most dramatic examples. As crowd density increased, entire sections of the city began phasing in and out of existence. Buildings would appear partially loaded, with missing floors or walls that rendered as empty space. The famous billboards displayed nothing but error messages in languages that didn't correspond to any human writing system. Most disturbing was the realization that these weren't equipment failures. Multiple independent satellites confirmed identical observations from different orbital positions. The implications were staggering. If Earth's surface was displaying rendering artifacts, it suggested that physical reality itself might be generated in real time by some kind of massive processing system. The cities, landscapes, and even human beings might exist as dynamic simulations rather than solid matter, with the system occasionally failing to maintain consistent appearance during periods of high computational load. Deep Eye's footage revealed that rural areas showed fewer artifacts than urban centers, suggesting that population density directly correlated with rendering instability. Remote wilderness areas appeared consistently solid, while major metropolitan centers flickered between states of existence like poorly optimized video game environments, struggling to maintain frame rates during complex scenes. The Sky Framework. The International Space Station's external camera array captures hundreds of hours of Earth imagery every day. But in September 2021, astronauts aboard the ISS began reporting visual phenomena that their cameras couldn't adequately record. Commander Elena Volkov was conducting routine maintenance on the station's solar panels when she noticed something that defied immediate explanation. Surrounding Earth at an altitude of approximately 1,200 kilometers was a vast network of translucent geometric structures. The formations appeared crystalline, consisting of interconnected nodes and pathways that formed complex three-dimensional lattices extending far beyond the visible horizon. The structures were only visible at specific viewing angles, becoming completely transparent when observed directly, but clearly apparent in peripheral vision. The framework appeared engineered rather than natural, with perfectly symmetrical patterns that suggested intentional construction on an incomprehensible scale. Individual segments of the lattice network measured hundreds of kilometers in length, connected by junction points that pulsed with faint bioluminescent activity. The entire system rotated slowly around Earth's axis, maintaining consistent positioning relative to the planet's surface. Commander Volkov's initial reports were met with skepticism from ground control, but within days, every crew member aboard the ISS confirmed identical observations. The crystalline structures were clearly visible to human eyes, but remained completely undetectable to the station's sensor arrays. Radar systems showed no obstruction, infrared imaging detected no heat signatures, and electromagnetic sensors registered no interference. The framework's invisibility to electronic detection, while remaining visible to biological perception, suggested it existed in a dimensional state that organic consciousness could access, but artificial systems could not. This raised profound questions about the nature of human awareness and whether biological intelligence possessed sensory capabilities that technological instruments fundamentally lacked. Most unsettling was the framework's apparent responsiveness to observation. When astronauts focused their attention on specific sections of the lattice network, those areas would brighten and display increased activity. The structures seemed to react to human consciousness, suggesting they might be designed to interface directly with biological awareness, rather than physical matter. Ground-based astronomers who were briefed on the observations reported similar sightings through high-powered telescopes, confirming that the framework extended well beyond the ISS's orbital altitude. The structures appeared to form a complete spherical enclosure around Earth, visible from any location with sufficient elevation and viewing angle to see past atmospheric interference. The Hollow Network. Europe's gravity field and steady-state Ocean Circulation Explorer satellite was designed to map Earth's gravitational field with unprecedented precision, detecting variations as small as 1 part in a trillion. But in 2018, the GOES mission revealed gravitational anomalies that suggested our planet's interior was fundamentally different from every geological model. Dr. Friedrich Weber was analyzing gravitational data from the satellite's final orbital passes when he discovered something that challenged basic assumptions about planetary formation. The measurements revealed enormous spherical voids within Earth's mantle, each hundreds of miles in diameter, maintained at precise depths between 400 and 800 kilometers below the surface. These weren't natural caverns or geological formations. They were perfect spheres, positioned with mathematical precision. The gravitational signatures indicated that these voids weren't empty space. They contained some form of structured matter that generated its own gravitational field, preventing the surrounding rock from collapsing inward. The energy requirements to maintain such massive chambers against geological pressure would exceed the output of nuclear reactors, yet the system appeared to operate continuously without any detectable power source. Weber's team mapped over 200 individual chambers arranged in a geometric pattern that extended throughout Earth's interior structure. The spacing between chambers followed precise mathematical ratios, suggesting the entire network was designed according to advanced engineering principles rather than formed through natural geological processes. The chambers appeared to be connected by tunnel systems that maintained consistent gravitational properties across vast distances. The most disturbing discovery was that the chamber network was actively maintained. Gravitational measurements showed the voids expanding and contracting in coordinated patterns, as if responding to some kind of central control system. The chambers weren't static structures, but dynamic components of a planetary-scale infrastructure that operated according to unknown principles. Independent verification using seismic data confirmed the gravitational findings. Earthquake waves showed distinctive reflection patterns when encountering the chamber locations, indicating the presence of structured boundaries rather than natural rock formations. The seismic signatures suggested the chambers contained geometric structures that organized space according to principles that human physics couldn't adequately explain. The implications were staggering. If Earth contained a network of engineered chambers, it suggested that our planet might be an artificial construction rather than a naturally formed celestial body. The chamber system appeared designed to maintain planetary stability and structure, raising questions about who or what had constructed such a massive infrastructure project, and for what purpose. The magnetic grid. Solar observation satellites positioned at Lagrange Point 1 maintain a constant view of the Sun's activity and its effects on Earth's magnetic field. In 2019, instruments aboard the Solar Dynamics Observatory began detecting patterns within our planet's magnetosphere that resembled adaptive circuitry more than natural magnetic field lines. Dr. James Crawford was monitoring solar-wind interactions when he noticed that Earth's magnetic field was responding to solar radiation in ways that defied conventional understanding of electromagnetic physics. Instead of the chaotic fluctuations expected during solar storms, the magnetosphere displayed organized geometric patterns that appeared to process and redirect solar energy according to specific algorithms. The magnetic field lines formed complex three-dimensional structures that resembled circuit pathways, complete with junction points, switching mechanisms, and what appeared to be processing nodes that modified electromagnetic signals in real time. When solar flares impacted Earth's magnetosphere, the field patterns would reconfigure themselves to optimize energy absorption and distribution, as if guided by an intelligent control system. Most remarkable was the field's ability to anticipate solar activity before it reached Earth. The magnetosphere would begin reconfiguring itself hours before solar wind changes arrived, suggesting it possessed some form of predictive capability or was receiving information from monitoring systems positioned closer to the Sun. The field patterns indicated active management rather than passive response to external electromagnetic forces. The geometric structures within the magnetosphere operated on multiple scales simultaneously, from massive field lines spanning continents to microscopic fluctuations that appeared to process individual particle interactions. The system demonstrated characteristics of distributed computing, with local processing nodes coordinating through the global field network to maintain optimal electromagnetic conditions around the planet. Crawford's analysis revealed that the magnetic grid was selectively filtering specific types of cosmic radiation while allowing other frequencies to pass through unchanged. The filtering patterns suggested the system was designed to protect biological life while maintaining optimal conditions for technological development, as if the magnetosphere was engineered to support the evolution of technological civilization on Earth's surface. The discovery that Earth's magnetic field might be an artificial defense network rather than a natural phenomenon raised profound questions about the planet's true nature and the possibility that protective systems were actively maintaining conditions suitable for human civilization without our knowledge or understanding. The multiple Earths view. In March 2022, a routine calibration exercise involving 17 satellites from 6 different space agencies revealed something that shattered fundamental assumptions about observation and reality. The cross-agency synchronization protocol was designed to ensure all Earth monitoring systems were providing consistent data for climate research and disaster response coordination. Instead, it exposed evidence that Earth's appearance depends entirely on which instrument is observing it. Dr. Maria Santos, coordinating the project from the European Space Operations Center, expected minor variations in sensor readings due to different technologies and orbital positions. What she discovered defied every principle of objective reality. The same geographic coordinates, observed simultaneously by different satellites, were producing completely contradictory visual data that couldn't be reconciled through any known scientific explanation. NASA's Landsat 9 showed Earth as the familiar blue marble, rotating on its standard axis, with continents positioned exactly as expected. Meanwhile, Japan's Advanced Land Observing Satellite detected the same planet as a distinctly cubic structure, with sharp geometric edges and faceted surfaces that reflected sunlight in angular patterns. Russia's Resurs P series captured imagery of Earth as a multi-layered dimensional object, with multiple planetary surfaces existing at different depths like nested spheres. The discrepancies weren't limited to shape. Some satellites detected landmasses that others showed as ocean, mountain ranges that appeared as valleys to different instruments, and weather systems that existed for some observers while remaining completely invisible to others. It was as if each monitoring system was accessing a different version of reality, all equally valid but mutually incompatible. Dr. Santos's team spent months verifying instrument functionality, checking orbital calculations, and eliminating every possible source of technical error. Every satellite was operating perfectly within design parameters. The contradictory observations weren't equipment failures, but genuine differences in what each system was detecting. The inescapable conclusion was that Earth's physical properties changed depending on the method used to observe them. Most disturbing was the discovery that human-operated systems produced different results than automated instruments. When astronauts aboard the International Space Station visually confirmed Earth's appearance, their observations matched some satellite feeds, but contradicted others. The planet seemed to adapt its presentation based on the consciousness or artificial intelligence observing it, suggesting reality itself might be responsive to the act of measurement. The cross-agency protocol was immediately terminated and classified under international security restrictions. Official reports cited technical incompatibilities between different satellite systems, but internal communications revealed genuine concern about the implications of observer-dependent reality. If Earth's fundamental properties could change based on observation methods, it raised terrifying questions about the stability of physical existence and whether objective reality existed at all. Independent analysis of the leaked data revealed patterns suggesting that Earth maintained multiple simultaneous states of existence, with different aspects becoming apparent to different types of observers. The planet wasn't just a single object in space, but a complex intersection of multiple realities, each equally real but accessible only through specific observation techniques or consciousness states. The shutdown constellation. Between April and August 2023, a series of coordinated satellite failures occurred that seemed designed to prevent further observation of Earth's anomalous properties. 13 critical monitoring satellites from 7 different countries experienced simultaneous system failures that disabled their primary imaging capabilities while leaving all other functions intact. The precision of the failures suggested intentional shutdown rather than random technical problems. The cascade began with Europe's Sentinel-2B, which suffered what officials described as solar panel degradation that reduced power to imaging systems by exactly 73%. Within days, similar power reductions affected NASA's Terra satellite, China's Gaofen 1, and Russia's Canopus 5 series. Each failure was different in technical details, but identical in result. The satellites could maintain orbit and basic communications, but could no longer capture detailed surface imagery. Dr. Kevin Park, a systems analyst contracted to investigate the failures, discovered that the affected satellites had all been involved in detecting Earth's anomalous properties during previous observation campaigns. Every satellite that had recorded inconsistent planetary data, dimensional overlaps, or reality fluctuations was systematically disabled, while identical satellites that hadn't detected anomalies continued operating normally. The failure patterns defied conventional understanding of space-based system degradation. Solar panels don't selectively lose efficiency in ways that target only imaging systems while leaving other components unaffected. Sensor arrays don't develop identical malfunctions across different manufacturers and orbital positions. The coordinated nature of the failures suggested external intervention rather than natural equipment degradation. Most suspicious was the timing of replacement satellite launches. Within weeks of each failure, new monitoring satellites were deployed with modified sensor packages that produced more consistent but less detailed Earth observations. The replacement systems seemed designed to prevent detection of the anomalies that had been captured by their predecessors, suggesting a coordinated effort to limit humanity's ability to observe Earth's true nature. The shutdown pattern extended beyond Earth observation satellites to deep space monitoring systems that had detected unusual activity around our planet. Radio telescopes that had recorded anomalous signals from Earth's vicinity experienced equipment failures, and space-based observatories reported sudden degradation of sensors that had been functioning perfectly for years. Dr. Park's final report, heavily redacted before public release, concluded that the satellite failures represented either the most unlikely sequence of coincidences in space exploration history or evidence of systematic intervention by parties with advanced technological capabilities and detailed knowledge of space-based monitoring systems. The intervention appeared designed to create an observation blackout that would prevent further detection of Earth's anomalous properties while maintaining basic satellite services that humanity depended on for communication and navigation. If the failures were intentional, it suggested powerful forces were actively working to limit human understanding of our planet's true nature. The pattern continues today, with replacement satellites producing increasingly sanitized observations that show Earth as a consistently normal planet. The anomalies that dozens of monitoring systems detected between 2019 and 2023 have virtually disappeared from official data, replaced by mundane imagery that matches conventional expectations about planetary characteristics. Whether this represents successful correction of technical problems or successful suppression of disturbing discoveries remains classified information hidden within space agency archives that may never be released to public scrutiny. The most advanced monitoring systems ever created had detected evidence that Earth was far stranger than anyone imagined, and then those same systems were systematically silenced before they could reveal more. The coordinated nature of these satellite failures suggests that someone or something possesses the capability to disable space-based monitoring systems with surgical precision, targeting only those instruments that detect inconvenient truths while leaving conventional operations intact. The question remains whether this intervention represents protection from disturbing knowledge or prevention of humanity's understanding of our planet's true nature. The implications are staggering either way. If Earth's monitoring satellites can be selectively disabled by external forces, it means our understanding of the planet depends entirely on what those forces allow us to observe. The blue marble we see in official imagery might be the sanitized version of reality, carefully edited to hide the true nature of the world beneath our feet. The evidence accumulates with each revelation, building toward an inescapable conclusion. 10 separate satellite systems, operating across different decades and managed by competing nations, have all detected the same fundamental truth. Earth is not what we've been told it is. The blue marble spinning peacefully in space appears to be a carefully maintained illusion, hiding something far more complex and potentially terrifying. Each glitch represents a momentary failure in whatever system maintains Earth's conventional appearance. The vanishing globe showed us the flat, reflective plane beneath our curved reality. The future film roll proved that time operates differently than we understand. The weather satellites revealed temporal displacement that suggests multiple timeline access. The unmapped islands demonstrated parallel geography existing beyond our dimensional perception. The pattern becomes undeniable when examined as a whole. Earth's magnetic field operates like engineered circuitry. The planet's interior contains artificial chambers maintained by unknown technology. Crystalline frameworks surround our world, visible only to biological consciousness. Multiple versions of Earth exist simultaneously, accessible through different observation methods. Most disturbing is the coordinated response to these discoveries. Whenever satellites detect anomalous properties, they're systematically disabled or their feeds are filtered in real time. Broadcast delays prevent live observation of Earth's true appearance. Technical malfunctions consistently target only those instruments that reveal inconvenient truths while leaving conventional monitoring systems operational. The implications extend far beyond scientific curiosity. If Earth's surface is being rendered in real time, it suggests our entire reality might be artificially generated. If multiple versions of the planet exist simultaneously, our understanding of physical existence becomes meaningless. If the magnetic field and internal structure are engineered systems, then someone or something designed Earth as a constructed environment rather than a natural celestial body. The satellite evidence reveals that humanity lives within a managed reality, carefully controlled by forces with technological capabilities that exceed our comprehension. Every sunset, every mountain range, every ocean wave might be part of an elaborate simulation designed to maintain the illusion of natural planetary existence while hiding the true nature of our engineered world. The coordinated shutdown of monitoring systems proves that these forces actively prevent human discovery of the truth. We're allowed to see only the sanitized version of Earth, the blue marble that matches our expectations, while the real planet remains hidden behind layers of technological deception that break down only occasionally, revealing glimpses of something far stranger than we ever imagined. The question that haunts every investigation is simple, yet terrifying. If Earth isn't the natural planet we believe it to be, what are we really living on, and who or what created the elaborate illusion that surrounds us every day of our lives? These 10 satellite anomalies paint a terrifying picture that challenges everything we thought we knew about our world. From flat reflective planes replacing Earth's curvature to photographs capturing future timelines. From weather satellites observing storms 3 days ahead to unmapped islands that exist only in satellite footage, the evidence points toward a disturbing conclusion. Our planet appears to be something far more complex than a simple celestial body floating through space. The magnetic grid operating like engineered circuitry, the hollow chambers maintained by unknown energy systems, the crystalline frameworks visible only to human consciousness, and the multiple Earth states existing simultaneously all suggest we're living within a carefully constructed environment rather than on a natural world. Most chilling is the systematic response to these discoveries. Every time satellites detect anomalous properties, they're disabled, their feeds are filtered, or the data is classified under national security restrictions. The coordinated nature of these shutdowns reveals that powerful forces are actively preventing humanity from understanding our planet's true nature. The blue marble we see in official imagery might be nothing more than a sanitized illusion, carefully maintained to hide the reality of our engineered existence. The question that remains is simple yet terrifying. If Earth isn't the natural planet we believe it to be, what exactly are we living on, and who or what is controlling the elaborate deception that surrounds us every single day?